I've done, 2, 3, I've done a little bit of cutting so that I've got things ready to stitch as we go rather than cut as we go. When I made the first one, I did cut as I went. So here is our Wonky Log Cabin, and as you can see, these strips, rather than being the same width the whole way across, they are at an angle. Okay, so our ruler is here, and let's see, it might be better on the back there. There we are. So what we have is squares drawn on the ruler, and one says round A1, round A2, that's the centre, which is round 3, and then you've got round 2B and round 1B. So for when we do round 1, we look at the A and the B, and these squares are very important because that's what we're going to line this centre square up with. So there is with the ruler, which I don't sell, but they are available from creativegrids.co.uk or .com. It is just called the 10-inch Wonky Log Cabin Trim Tool. And as I say, the instructions are very, very good. It tells you, whoops, here we go first of all. So it tells you cutting round 1 and tells you what to cut. And I've done this. It's got the centre square. So it's worked on jelly rolls. So if you've got jelly rolls, I've done mine scrappy. If you've got leftover strips of jelly rolls, you will be able to make these. And the ruler is, yes, a Wonky Log Cabin trim tool, it is called. So it gives you the cutting instructions for the first round and tells you more, and then it's got cutting round for the second one and cutting round for the third one. So it tells you exactly how long. If you've got jelly roll, you don't even have to think about the width because they're all the right width, and all you need to do is to cut the lengths that it tells you here. So what I have already done, let's pop that out of the way. I've already cut my centre squares. I'm being traditional and I'm having a red centre square. I've just answered your question. Okay, Jade. And then I've got my pile of strips that I need for my first round. So first round, I've got 2 lots of strips in my light, and I'm just using a white on white. And then I've got 2 lots of different length strips as the dark colour. So as I say, I've just got a pile of those. I am going to do more and make something bigger than just one square. So that is my first round, those pieces. You will actually only need one of each. For one block, you will only need 1 square, or 1 light square, and then 1 rectangle, and then 1 of one length and 1 of the other. Then I have my round 2, which I didn't cut as many of those. So these are different lengths, but again, I've got 2 different lengths of my light, as you can see, and then 2 different lengths of my dark ones. So that's my round 2. And then my round 3, exactly the same. I've got 2 different lengths of my light, and then I've got 2 different lengths there, if you can see, of my darks. They're all the wrong way, or wiggled different way round, but I've got the same colours in there, and I'm just going to put them together in whichever order springs to mind. So I'm just going to I'll keep all of those, layer 3, I'm going to pop them out of the way, and round 2, I'll put those. It'd be a good idea to label them up, round 3 and round 2, but you'll see by the length of the strips that they will be for which round they are, because the shorter ones will be round 1 and the longest ones will be round 3. So you've only got 3 rounds. So how do we begin? We begin just like we do with your standard log cabin. And just see how you can see it. You should be able to see that. Can we see that okay? So I've got no comments coming up at the minute. So the very first thing is to take your centre square, which is the red one, and then one of your lights. Okay, so let's take our light, our smallest light, and we'll pop that right sides together with our red one, or our centre one, and we're going to stitch 1/4 inch seam allowance down that side. So we're always going in an anti-clockwise direction. So we will stitch down there, and to start off with, I'm just going to finger press it open and just flip it back and then finger press there, because this is a very forgiving block. Because we're trimming it at every round, if your seams are a little bit wobbly, or if they're not quite 1/4 of an inch, because we trim at each round of 4 strips, we're going to be able to get rid of any errors that you might think. Hello, Nikki, no worries there. So we've got our 2 pieces like that, and then we're going to go anti-clockwise. So we're going to put this one. No, we're going clockwise, not anti-clockwise. We're going clockwise. We're going to put this one on next, then this one, then this one. So the next one, we want 2 whites, or 2 light fabrics first, and then 2 darks. So I'm now going to take my second light fabric, right side up, and place that right sides together. Now that should fit perfectly, and just move that across. It does. So just pop that down again so I know red there and the white is to my right. And then we pop that on the top, and we're going to stitch along here to stitch it together. So we're going in a clockwise direction. I don't fit, yes, it would matter actually. And so I would stick to the clockwise direction, because otherwise you're lining up with the squares. It won't work as the instructions say. So when we open that out, there is our light. So it's growing quite quickly already. So I've still got the centre there and my first light to the right of that. So the next one is going to be here, and that will be using my short, so I'm going to put a dark one in the middle here. So that one is going there, and I could put these out of the way now because I don't actually need them. I only need one of each, and then we'll do, but I'm having a different fabric on each round. So actually if I put that there, so I'm going to take this one, which is going to go there. If you lay them out where they're going, then it's easier not to make an error. So that one is going there. So we've got 2 darks to one side of it and 2 lights to the other. So let's pop this one onto here, line that raw edge up and to there. And again, you can see it fits perfectly. So we will just stitch down this side, and then if we put it back in the same orientation that we picked it up, we will be fine. So we just pop that back. Now at the moment it's not. We had it like that, didn't we? We had the red in the centre, we had the light to the right. So now we need this other colour to go on top there. So again, the cutting instructions are just perfect. And you see, again, it all matches, which is lovely. So we will stitch along here, make sure these raw edges align as I stitch. Okay, all the way down to the other end. Okay, so there I have, push that back. There I have my next one on. Now what I am going to do is just give that a press, because it is always better pressed than not. So let's just see if, rather than, let's go to the ironing board there, and let's take our strip and I just turned it on. I didn't turn it on. I could have turned it on, shouldn't I? So we'll just, I have already finger pressed those, so they are in the right directions. They're all going away from the centre. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just pulling it a little bit to just make sure they are totally opened out. I should have waited till the iron was a little bit hotter, but we can just give that a press. And you do need to press at each round because we're going to be trimming. So I have got that one now, and we can go back to the desk, pop that on there, and we will put it round in the same orientation. So we always need, when we start cutting, we always need the lights to be in that top right hand corner. So let me take that off, and let's see if we can push this out of the way for the first one, because we do need to do a little bit of trimming. Let's make sure I don't knock anything on the floor. There we go. So there is my cutting mat. There is my rotary cutter. And I was going to pick up a ruler, and I don't need a ruler, do I? So my ruler is here, and my block is here. So what we need to do, looking at my ruler, now I'm looking, you can see it the right way around now. The centre square here needs to go on the centre square. So what we do is line that up, the centre square. No, centre square is the last round. I lie. We've just done round one. So we look for round 1A. The first cut is the first letter A. Our second cut is going to be the opposite side, B. So round A, we need to put that square over our red square. So we line that up. Okay, perfectly. So that black square is in exactly the right place, and then all I'm going to do is trim up that side and across the top. So I'm going to keep these for another day, these little bits, because I'm going to find something to do with these. So having cut that first cut, we're then going to swivel it around 180 degrees. So that white is going to go down in the left bottom corner. And then I'm going to turn my board around. So I've got round 1B, and that 1B is going to go over the red square again. So that lines up perfectly there. Now where have I put? Can we see that? Yes, we can. So I've got my round 1. And the second cut being B, second letter, I've got that all lined up there. And then I'm going to trim along that side and along the top. So we will take, this is where I went over the pin last night. And I've got that little nick, and I haven't changed the blade. So there we have the start of our Wonky Log Cabin. I'm sorry I can't see any comments, but they have disappeared. Okay, so the next round 2. So let's put we're going to put it on these white edge again. So I'm picking up my set here of my light. So there's my 2 light and my 2 dark. So I'm going to have the shortest light there. Let's put that over there. And I'm actually going to pull my machine back in. Okay, so let's just pull this in just here. Whoops, it's going. There we are. So we're back to seeing that. So my short light is going there. So we're always having the light ones coming on these 2 sides. We're having that way. That one is going there. Then we're going to have our dark ones. So the shorter one is going to go on this side. So we'll have that one there. And then the longer one, what colour shall we have here? We won't have blue, we'll have orange. So that one can go just there. So the first one we'll do is this one here, the white one. So let's just see what we're seeing now. That's it. Perhaps we need... No, that's fine. So let's just pop those to the side while we do our stitching. That one's coming down here. So again, right sides together, and you'll find every time that these line up just perfectly. I just need to move in a little bit to be able to sew. And what I'll do, instead of using my knee lift, I will keep lifting it, as most of you do who don't have a knee lift. So we'll just stitch down this side and cut and flip that back, a little nail press along there. And then the next one is going, because we're going clockwise, so right sides together, and again, just line that up. If you make sure it lines up perfectly, then what we can do is always match this other end, and then just hold the fabrics together. You can pin the whole way along here if you want to, but I just find it quite easy. To stitch down there. So again, open it out. Oh, I've got a bit of black on there. And nail press that. So the next one is coming here. So if I put it back to how it was, the red one is going on this side. So red to there. And we can just put that together. And as I usually do, pop it under the machine, do a few stitches, then hold the other end and line that up. As I say, pop your pins in if that's how you feel comfortable. Love a knee lift, absolutely. And I do get used to it. So let's just stitch our way down that side. And open it out. What am I doing getting black? I did oil it yesterday, but that might be coming from somewhere. So that red was at that side. So we've got the long strip there, which is going along the top. So again, line into that corner, like so. Pop it under the needle. And I do like to make sure the seams, they're going out, don't flick up. Now and again they do, but you can see how beautifully they line up. And it is always lovely by doing the cutting first and with the trimming tool. It just means it is an absolute delight to stitch these blocks together. Okay, so we have our blocks again. And I'm just going to, I won't move the the screen again, but I will just take it over and I'll just line that up. Ooh, that's if we got the heat on. Okay, so let's just give that a press, because as I say, because we are trimming this, we want it to be pressed nice and flat to be able to get the best that we can, the best results. Okay, so there's another one. Looks good like that, but we've got one more round to do. So let's push this out of the way again. Right, and let's bring in the mat. Now my mat is not going to be big enough, so I'm going to, now remember we want our white to that side there. So we're on round 2. So now we are looking at 2A. Where is number 2? here we are. So round 2, I couldn't see it there. So round 1 I've got the black outline, round 2 I've got a white one. So A, because it's the first time, so we're going to put, I'm just going to bring that down a little bit so that I can fit this on. So my 2A square is going here. I need it to go up there a little bit more so that I can cut. In actual fact, I need a bigger cutting mat, so bear with.
Also played a crucial role last season, scoring the winner his final Liverpool goal against Everton in April, helping his team to a second Premier League title. Speaking on the day he lifted the trophy, Trisha explained just how much it meant to him.
Right, I have returned. Let's have a bigger mat because we are not going to be able to cope with a smaller mat. So let's put that under there. Let's see if I can lift the machine up. Oh, I am. Okay. Right. So now I have a bigger mat. Let's put that on the floor. And there we are. That's better. So I'm looking at 2A. That white one there, fitting on. So every time we fit it around that centre block. Okay, so it is absolutely on there. Hand down. I can trim to there and trim across the top. So there we have that one. Then 2B is down here. So we'll lift this. Underneath, I'm going to swivel that round 180 degrees so that the white that was here is now down diagonally opposite. And I'm looking to turn the ruler so that 2B, this white edge, is going onto my red centre square. Okay. So, oh, that's on there better. That's it. So I can see that's totally well, not circled, but gone around the edge of my centre square. So now I'm going to trim up there and across there, and there is my second round. It's good, isn't it? Don't you think? Okay, so let's see now. I need to bring the machine back on here, don't I? Let's see. I suppose I'm going to have to move this in here. Ugh. Okay, let's see if I can pull this over a little bit more. That's it. And pop that onto the machine. There we go. So we now have it on the mat. So there is my next block, or rather my third round. And, oops, third round. So third round, let me get my strips here. There is my pile of strips for the third round. So my first one is going to go down here, which is that one. No, sorry, the white is going here. Okay. And then the longer light one is going just along there. And then I'm going to find my two darker ones. So I think we could have, we're not having orange because we've had that. We are going to have limey green because we haven't had that. I'm going to have, as I say, two different ones. So that was the shorter of the two. And now I'm looking for the longer, which we need yellow. So there is my yellow. So it's a little bit big for the table here, but the yellow is going to go there. So let's have a look. The first one we're going to stitch here. I'm just going to move these over because they're going to get in the way. So again, right sides together, line that up, either from the top edge, but again, fits perfectly. So Around we go, make sure that lines up at the bottom and the edges. And we whiz our way down to the bottom. Fold it back, open it out, give that a nail press along there. And then we always do 2 lights, one after the other. So the next one is here, right sides together. And again, line up that corner. There we go. Hold that point at the bottom. I tell you, if you have one of these rulers, it makes it so easy. And I could feel I did wobble a little there, but it is not going to show because when I come to trim, we are going to have a 10.5-inch square as along the outer edge, and it really isn't going to matter. Okay, so my next one, well, we'd be able to tell. If I got my 4th one and put it here, it's too long. So I know it must be this green one. So again, right sides together, line that point up there. Whoops, that came away. Just make sure it stays together and stitch just a little bit. And this other end, again, fits beautifully. And down we go. Like so. So open that one out. Now I've got my colours going in a different order, but I'm using the same 6 colours on each of the blocks. So then my last side here, the yellow one, is going right sides together, and line that under the needle and just hold this end. There we are. So I'm getting my fingers on there to stop the seam from opening up or twisting the wrong way. There we are. And I'm keeping the raw edges aligned there. Pulling that out as we go. Okay. And there is my 3rd round. So I'm just going to take that to the ironing board, and I am going to just give that a little press just so that we've got a perfect square for trimming. Okay, so you'll know exactly what I'm doing. Just pressing that because I finger pressed or nail pressed to begin with, and everything is absolutely fine with that. Okay, so there is our large square, and again I'm just going to have to push this. No, yeah, perhaps I can push it on. There we are, push that away on the mat. Perfect. And there is, let's push it a little bit more. There we are. So I'm just going to move it around. I don't think at this point it matters, but let's put it how it was with our white on that top right. And again, it is pretty. I don't know if it will actually be difficult as a lefty, because as long as you're doing them all the same and going, you'll probably want to go in an anti-clockwise direction. And what you may have to do is use the B square first and then the A. I haven't actually tried, but if you were to do it, that's how I would look at doing it. But as long as you do the same routine every time, same if you're doing a normal log cabin, you could go round anti-clockwise. This one we're going clockwise, but it would look just the same because you can twist and turn it. It wouldn't make any difference to the finished to the finished results. Okay, so very last one, we're still working around that centre red square, and we're looking at this one here, centre square round 3. And this time it does go on there for both directions. So one thing, perhaps I don't know, perhaps it doesn't now, you'll probably notice is that these lines actually line up with your seams as well. But I'm just lining up, there we are. So that black square is on, are we able to see that okay? Comments are not giving, you have enough trouble using when cutting fabric, do you, Lefty, do you? Oh dear. Right. Okay. I'm just going to bring that back just a little bit so that, there we are. So you can see the red square here, that I've got that totally lined up. So all I'm going to do now is cut along here, and then along the top. Let's move that away. Move that away. I haven't trimmed that little bit off. And then we need to move the block 180 degrees again and line up that centre square on our red square. And what you'll notice now is that the edge of your block lines up with the black line on the ruler around the edge as well. So, and then you know you have got a perfect 10.5 inch block. Okay, so I'm just, the last cut, trimming that, taking that away, and there we have another log cabin block. And I don't think that is too difficult at all. So we can join them together like that if we want to, or we can join them together like that. But you could make lots of them. We could join it together like that. We could join it together. I think I did that one before. But the beauty of this is when we come to join them together, we've got no seams to match. Here's a seam, continuous piece of fabric. Here's a seam, continuous. Here's a seam, and we're on continuous. So really nice and easy for when it comes to joining them up. Okay, so I'm just going to shift this back now. Oops, sorry about that, but we'll have a look. You can see there. Oh, that's better. You couldn't hear me, I don't think. I had muted the sound when I touched it. Oh dear. Trisha's done it again. I'm back. And yes, I'm back, aren't I? I can see comments, which is great. Oh, I tell you. Jill, you are very, very late, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm back now, aren't I? Please, 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 I think I'm back. No sound still? Or is that just coming? I'm unmuted now. Surely. Let me see. I'll turn my one. Let me do. Okay. Is it that one? No, that's that one. Right. Back. Am I back now? Am I back now? I'm not touching it now. Gone. Am I back now? You see, the problem is... Back again. You can hear, jolly good, you can hear now. It's just, yes, you can hear. It takes a good 10 seconds for your comments to come through. So I'm thinking you're saying you can't hear me, so I'm touching it again. That's better. So the microphone, yes, that's what I touched. And a line comes up again, across it. And that means it's muted. Back now, loud and clear. Fantastic. Okay. So, I tell you, don't we have such fun with technology? I tell you. Okay. So, log cabin, wonky log cabin, in fact. And so I've got those there. Okay. And it really is, oh, I've put these here, haven't I? To have your little pile, where have I put my other ones then? To have your little pile, set one of your ones. Oh, they're gone, they're here. There we are. There's one. There's two. Right. So I'll cut yourself a pile of centre squares. So these are 2.5 inch squares. I would then have, this is my first round. So a light one that is the same 2.5 inches square for your first one you put on. Then you have a little bit longer. I think that's 4.5 in light. Then you have the same 4.5 in a colour. And then I think it's a 6.5. So if you cut your pieces, I've got enough there now for another probably 6 blocks. But it just saves you getting up and down to cut your pieces if you're going to make more than one block. I think it's good to make each block separately. So you stitch it round, cut it, stitch it round, cut it, stitch it round, cut it. But if you got all your smaller pieces cut, and you saw how beautifully they went together, and that's because of the trimming it at each stage. So that was my round 1. My round 2 was, oh, I think there was only 2. Yeah, I only did 2 bits, didn't I? So you've got 2 different lengths. So these are different to round 1's lengths. And also with the dark ones, you've got 2 lengths of the dark. So you can see there. So that was my round 2. And then my round 3 was even longer. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I think they are lovely blocks. I do believe, let me just give that a measure. You could do this without a log cabin, a Wonky Log Cabin ruler. If you have, so let me just see if I have got 2 hands. Oh, here we are. Oh, that's not long enough. So if you were to have, oh, that's not good. Right, so for that first round, if you had a 5-inch square, like a 5-inch square ruler like this, you could put that on and cut around it and just sort of move it to what angle you wanted to. But you would then need another one for the next round, which is, let me just measure this, 7, oh, that's a bit more, 7. Yeah, and I don't think they do them. You would need a 7.5 inch for the second round, a 7.5 inch square. I don't believe I've ever seen a 7.5 inch square. And then this one, a 10.5 inch square. You might possibly find a 10.5 inch square, but I don't think there is. I mean, to be honest, I suppose if I were to get rulers made, you'd have to have a set of 3 rulers, and yours would be, your Wonky Log Cabin would be absolutely unique because it would depend where you are what angle you're putting your individual ruler at, which is why this ruler, you've got it all in one. Everything's there that you need to be able to make it. Okay, so it is 7:30. I think we've done really, really well tonight. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been lovely having your company again for a lot of this week. And after the hot weather at the beginning, it's really hazzled my brain, I think, because things haven't always gone to plan, but we have done, and we have had a good time. So enjoy tonight and the rest of your weekend. I will be back on Tuesday. Tuesday will be the next Christmas runner block in... No. It's Thursday, isn't it? There we go. It's Friday. I shall be here in the special group for the Mystery Quilt Week 5. Before it's the weekend, you see, I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? So, no, I'll see you tomorrow if you're in the Mystery Quilt number 5 for Week 5, and we'll put another couple of rows together so that you're ready for 3 weeks' time when you'll see exactly how it works and what it looks like. Thank you, Sue. I hope my car gets sorted too. I've got that tomorrow, haven't I? So take care of yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow evening. Bye for now.